I was looking through my notes and I went, man, it's been a while since we ran through these. And so, like with that particular technique, regardless how they do it, I'm trying to get them to translate it into the 48
Hmm.
as just pretty much exactly the same thing. All right, there you go. Okay, so everybody come in and we're going to work on a couple things here in the beginning. But first, we'll make a little field trip out of it. Um, and I'm saying that mostly because, for some of us, as we were talking about earlier, and I know Bruce and whoever's online, a lot of times you're practicing by yourself, okay, and that in itself can be very rewarding, but it can also be left to a lot of interpretation. Now, and you can change an entire practice just with a simple couple of props, and these are some of the things that I would have to practice with. Now, Ryan and Bader to a smaller degree, but I know Ryan he would learn the main prop we would two main props we'd use is the card of pain and a telephone pole. Those two things right there would help you learn bunches of different things. But sometimes we don't always have those available. So what I want to do is kind of give you a couple of ideas of things that you could do around the house, things I've done to help me interpret. So one of the things like y'all are working on tonight, for example, is in the 48, you have, that technique. Irregardless of which foot's forward, it's a cutting hand and coming across the top. And you can practice that in the air, right? And get it. But when all of a sudden when somebody holds up a hand that's not even trying to hit you, it's funny how your mind just collapses, right? All right. But there's a couple things that you can practice all by itself. Bader, if you don't mind, grab your staff for me real quick. Just walk. Don't jam up an ankle or nothing. Yeah. And part of it for me a lot of times is, and I've told y'all before, we would use the lines in the parking lot at Seafood's restaurant. Uh, there were several things that we would use, but one of the things that you could practice just in your technique is use a stick or a staff and sit on the ground and start in a ready position like you just were. Now, with the staff in front of you, you can have an imagination that you could use the imagination, but more importantly is that you just learn to step in a good direction, regardless of which way you decided to go in an open stance or a closed stance. But with this particular technique, if I wanted to step here, I could. And this gives you an idea of the angle that you're trying to practice at. The most important thing is to just try to make sure you line up in front of your staff each time. Because what will happen is that your mind will start to realize what you're trying to do, and this is what will generally happen with a person or with a stick. If you don't pay attention, what will happen is you'll start to line up over the side and you'll just walk straight ahead. Okay, so you have to make sure that you start with your toe in front of the line so that you get used to walking to an angle. Okay, that's one. The second thing, come over here real quick, Bruce. I'm gonna bring you with me. Come over here real quick. Good. Okay. You can use, I would open a door in my house or use the telephone pole. But a lot of times, if you can find a small tree or a bigger tree, like that one over there as well, you can use something like this to do exactly the same technique. And the nice thing is that because of the tree, you're forced, like I was talking with you about, Bob, all of a sudden you won't be bullying the tree. You'll learn to use a Timmy, right? Because all of a sudden it hurts like hell when you try to push on a tree. So you learn to be light because that's harder than you are. Now, the reason that we practice on poles and trees is because when you can practice on this, something like this, Steve would say, bury your soul in the pole was the proverb. So you would hit a telephone pole over and over and over and over and over and over, thousands and thousands and thousands of times till you are no longer afraid of hitting the telephone pole. And so when a man holds up his arms, it's almost laughable because you know his arms aren't nearly as strong as that damn tree or that telephone pole. But to practice that same technique you were just working on, you can line yourself on the tree with my left side forward, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly touch. And now I'm off at the angle. And if you notice, this hand just touched. And I go 1, 2. And you can just practice with something like this over and over again. And you hear the 2 contacts. 1, 2. Okay. I mean, if I was practicing that whole set out of the 48, I might go 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you heard it, you would hear it went tap 1, tap 2, scrape, and then touch, back out. So I get used to the texture. And that way, when I'm touching you, it's even easier, right? Because this ain't giving me anything. I have to earn it. But in your technique you're practicing right now, 1, 2. Just like that. You learn the timing. When I touch this, where's this hand? Now, why is this hand right here in that technique? I mean, keep your face safe, right? You don't want to take one right in the face. So if you do this, you see this big open window? But when you do this, a lot less window. Yes. So the mechanics will make sense if you pay attention to some of the details. Okay. Now we'll get back to our regular programming. But it's a good idea to use different things that are simple, that don't lie. Like a staff on the ground isn't going to lie. If something's wrong, it's probably you, right? Or the tree won't lie, right? If you're missing the tree or you're, kissing the tree, it's probably something you did, not something the tree did, right? We have a lot of the don't lies, the staff when you're using it, the blocks when you're throwing them and things like that. Yeah, the ground. Yeah, the buttercups don't lie, do they, Ryan? yeah, they don't lie. They'll kick your ass, right? Any questions about that? It's not trying to, what that effort is not trying to get you to become a heavy duty martial artist, but it is to try to help you deepen your understanding of what you believe you already know. Right. And you don't have to have something special to do it. All right. So with that in motion, let's do a couple of minutes of posting, and then I got a couple of things I want to do. Sorry, Bruce, I think I got pretty far away there, didn't I? All right. All right, so let's take a breath. And as you exhale, let everything settle down. We've had plenty of kids in the class, so we're all good. Some of the adults are still kids. Yeah, right. Let's take about 5 breaths. Breathe it in. Exhale nice and easy. Breathe in and rock back towards your heels. Exhale to the balls of your feet. Back and forth about 7 times. Then find yourself back to the middle, nice and easy. I like for you to start to create inside yourself that sense of lightness, like a balloon just floating in the sky a little bit. That light, easy, keeping it simple. One of the most important parts of any practice in any part of your life is learning to be light or lighter. As human beings, as we become adults, we tend to carry, or the Buddhists would say, we tend to cling. And the more you cling, the heavier you get. There's a proverb, I call them proverbs, or an old saying, sort of speak, is that of the three northern styles of Kung Fu, Xingyi, Tai Chi Chuan, and Bakwa, Bakwa Zhang. Each style generally represents a phase of water. The Xingyi would be your ice. The Tai Chi would be your water in the liquid form. And Bakwa is the gas, able to change and keeping evolving. When you're practicing Tai Chi, you want that lightness so that you can be the water. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to turn to the side here a little bit. And all we're going to do is we're going to hold the baby. Okay. We're going to stretch out almost like a parting horse's mane or a slanted fly, either one, you know. Now the same hand, same foot's out. Yeah. From here, we're going to pull back, shift the weight forward into it. Step, pull, fist under elbow. Okay. It's a standard Tai Chi technique that you're going to have show up in your 48 if it hasn't already. And it will definitely show up in all the fighting forms of the Tai Chi Chuan. Okay. Let's practice that again. So we have the left. In this case, I got my left leg forward. Okay. Y'all can watch Ryan. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to step out, whip it around. Okay. Pull, close down on that hip, shift your weight forward. And then from here, pull back and finish. Okay. So this is a little pre-learning. Okay. Well, let me, Ryan, come here real quick. So ideally, what I'm doing is I'm coming forward. He throws the other hand. I'm in and pull. Okay, that could be one little simple interpretation of it, just using two hands. I could be on this side, for example, and I'm going to use it defensively. I throw, grab, and strike. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, as we were talking about in this liquid form, it's always changing. Okay, going forward, sweep it, pull back. When you finish with this knee flexed and ready, not a dead leg. Okay, this should be ready to come up just as easy. Okay, yep. Ready? See it again. 1, 2, 3. There's plenty of room for interpretation. This is what, like Bob and I were talking before, this is the Rice form. Okay, the Rice version. I can interpret this offensively, defensively. You know, I can change my feet and things like that. But as far as the form friendly version, okay, make sure first you do that parting horse's mane action. Okay, and then from there, intercept, pull in here, and then pull. So you sit back into it and driving that weight down. Okay. Go ahead and try a few on your own so I can see what you're doing. That's good, Bob. And it's called fist under elbow because that's the image you want to have is whatever it is that you've grabbed a hold of there, you're pulling it toward that line. And at the same time, that hip and shoulder are driving that elbow out. Yes. So when you see me, you see how my body slant. Now, if I'm square, it looks like this. Okay. But when I'm doing it properly, like I said, again, if I use the stick on the ground, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to go, my left foot starts right here in front of the line. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to finish right here in front of it. And my hand is down that line with my toe and my knee. Not now my toe's on the line, but my elbow's over here. And my nose is over in the other place. So the more you can, yeah. So you had it right the first time. Go back. Yeah. Because you'll notice that if you push your hip back this way, you can't lift your knee. Right. It goes off the line. Okay. Yeah. Right. Whatever you decide to point at, right? If you're aiming at the camera, you know, your big toe, your knee, this arm, and this hand. Yeah. It's the only way that these can line up is for you to slant your body off to the side. Okay. Better, you have any questions? No? All right. So just sweep. All right. Now, as far as technique practice goes, just remember that the hand that is parting the horse's mane is the hand that ends up being the elbow. So if you're just doing this one-handed, it's just going boom, 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 and out, right? Because we're going to switch sides in a moment. You're going to have some way of remembering, right? The other side-itis will start to happen. Okay. But we're not going to do that quite yet. I want to give y'all a couple more minutes just doing one side. Good. That's good, Karen. All right. Hold the baby on the other side. There you go. Then out, boom, shift. Okay, good. All right. So Kim, I'd like for you to try to, when you get here and here, don't let this elbow be, I don't want it coming across like this. See how far this is away from here, right? When you come here, when this pulls in, if your waist turns properly, when I get here, then all that happens is that you see how this is here and it drives it up. If you get too wide with it, what will happen is, see how now it's coming out like this? That's too slow. You're never going to make it in time, because you have to remember that whatever it is that you're dealing with in your intention, they're right here. So if you bring this elbow way out to the side, bam, 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 right? You've got to be right in and keep that in so that nobody can get into your ribs. Much better. Okay. Okay. Ryan, help Jeff just a little bit. Jeff, that looked good. I just want your hand to make sure it comes under that elbow, not inside of it. We may not get to the other side. Good. That was much better. Just slant it just a little bit more. And same thing for you. And you tend to be, by your nature, squared off a little too often. Okay. So when you get here, okay, and you pull in, now when you come back, drive your body and see how I finish. My belly button's almost 45 degrees off that line. Yes, good. Well, you lost it there, Bob. Do it again. Okay. 1, 2. Now pull this down. 3. Yes. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Better. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Now this is what we were talking about, like an atemi. This is a surgical 1, 2, and then right out. Boom. Okay. Nicely done. Okay. Oh, grabbing. Yeah, pulling. That's the easiest way to take it. Yeah, it's reaching out and grabbing something, whatever that is, the back of a shirt, head of hair, back of a neck, whatever. It doesn't matter. Even like I showed with Ryan, it could be his arm, right? But whatever it is, when you finish, you're sitting there, they're right here. I mean, literally like breath smelling close, right? They're not way out here somewhere. So when you're practicing in this sense of the water, if you'll notice that, here again, I'm going to use this stick. Okay. If I start off in here and my toes on that stick, when I finish, I've advanced almost 8 inches. Did you see that? I did not stay in the same. I didn't do this. No. When I'm in here, when I get here, my line's on that toe. I'm here. When I move forward, I'm pulling and then turning. So you can see that I'm moving. Okay. That's better, Kim. Good. I'm going to look online real quick. Mr. Eads, how's that feeling for you, buddy? Good. Okay. Make sure that you put on your homework palette to practice the other side. Okay, yeah, because I don't think we're going to get to it this evening. It's about almost 6 o'clock now. All right. So practice it. Try to practice it right. And if you need to, the best way I've ever found to practice anything like this was just to just do it like a set of posting, just like you do any other set of Tai Chi, right? You can practice, if you were doing Tai Chi and you're just trying to learn the movements, you can post in almost any of the techniques, right? And hand under elbow is a good one to practice because you will develop a sense of, okay, this feels right? This feels advanced in line, and you should be just pretty much right there in front of your face with the hand. Jeff, that looks really good. Much better. And if you can practice where you can do about 21 breaths right there, your legs will start to get a little stronger. Your body will start to learn, okay, this is where he wants me. And so when you move through it, it'll almost pop right into it. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that doesn't matter. Now, usually you'll see it here, right? But it doesn't matter. The idea is the intention of it is that once it gets out here and this intercepts whatever it is it's touching, whether it pulls it this way or pulls it right into it, it's not going to matter so much, is that it's going to take and drive in. And the circle that you're creating is done through the expanding and contracting, and you'll see it this way. Whether the hand is twisting or not, I won't change that as long as you can demonstrate what you're doing. All right. But intention helps. Intercept, exchange, right? Change out the hands. When I change out, you notice how my weight came forward, boom, I'm here. Most of the time I'm here, mechanically, it's if you don't want to get kicked in the cojones. So close your hips down. So when I get into, again, if I'm here and there's the stick again, when I get here, when I get ready to move, remembering he's right here, I want to make sure that I don't get locked out. So when I get right here, I drive that foot and then I'm in here. So I can change that into a kick as long as I practice it. Mm-hmm. Good. Like I said, it's all, this is how Ryan learns, right? Or like you do it. Okay. So you throw out the hand, you're going to do it. Boom. Okay. Now, as he's coming forward, if you do it properly, and that's how he would usually learn to practice, is that you just check them. You do it again. Boom. Right. So if now he's not worried about it, right? If his hands put you spread your legs out a little bit more, as compared to it, and I'm not going to hit. Boom. Right. Because rest assured, you ladies know, if you get desperate, just throw something up near the leg, up there during the thigh. Somebody will move for you, right? Things will change quickly. You don't have to know a lot, right? So for tonight, hand under elbow is a technique, like I said, that will show up in the 48. Your homework will be is to practice the other side. Post in it if you need to. And it's going to show up pretty darn soon because a couple of you in your 48 have already gotten through, let's see, the last, boom, 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 on. Yep, you're right here, out, and it shows up right here. So y'all are right there on the cusp of having to need it anyway. And so this is what we call a pre-education.